What's up, YouTube? This is Big Pat the Fit MD, and welcome back to the channel. This is the second part of my squat tutorial, and I'm going to be talking about stretching before the squat. All right, let's get into it.
So when you do a squat, the barbell is sitting behind your shoulders and rest against your trapezius muscle and your neck. So your neck and your trapezius muscles are under constant pressure and tension. So you got to make sure that they're loosened up because they're constantly concentrating on keeping you facing forward and the bar resting on your back. This is really important. So make sure you wake up your neck. All right. Also, when you get in position to do the squat, your shoulders have to have really good mobility so that you could squeeze your shoulder blades backwards and grab onto the bar. This will tend to hurt if your shoulders don't have good mobility. So this mobility exercise here for your shoulders is also vital to getting into position to do the squat. Now, an easy way to tweak your back is when you're handling heavy weight to twist your torso. Now, these are torso twists. This help loosens up the muscle. So in case you accidentally do a twisting motion when you're under the barbell, this will decrease your chance of injury. Now, this is a wrist stretching exercise. Now, this is important because when you're under the barbell, whether you're doing a back squat or a front squat where the barbell is in front of your chest, it requires that your wrists be very flexible. So don't forget this exercise or you'll have a hard time getting into position for those exercises. Now, toe touches. Toe touches are designed to relax your lower back and to stretch out your hamstrings and your calf muscles. These are muscles that help a lot with flexibility, especially when you're trying to squat really deep and go what you call ass to the grass kind of squatting. All right. Always start your toe touches with trying to touch the ground in front of you, and then progress to touching your toes individually. Now I'm hyper extending my back and flexing my back. This is to further stretch out my lower back. All right. Now this exercise here, this stretching exercise here, opens up my hips, especially my inner thighs, which also helps me squat deeper. Now, sitting in the Indian position and holding this position also helps with my mobility of my inner hips. Very important exercise. This, I believe, is a yoga stretching exercise. This really stretches out your lower back and opens up your shoulders. Now we're going to get up and we're going to stretch out our calves. The last thing you want is a tight calf, because if your calves don't stretch properly and your ankle flexes, you're not going to have good ankle mobility. So make sure your calves are nice and loose. Very, very important exercise with the squat. This is also another mobility exercise to open up and loosen up your ankles. Also very, very important to achieve a deep and natural squat. You'll know that you have an ankle mobility problem if when you squat, when you get down to the bottom of your squat, your heel comes off the ground. All right. That's a no-no. Your heel should always be planted on your ground, on the ground from the bottom of your squat all the way up to the top of your squat. Here's another exercise, really, really good to stretch out your calves and flex your ankles and stretch your back. Now, this is the last stretching exercise that I do right before I start squatting. And what I do is I grab a pole and I lean back, and then I open up my legs and I wiggle left to right and back to front. And you always hear like a snap and crackling sound in your knees and your hips and your ankles. And that's a good thing. That's just you improving the flexibility of those joints so that when you go up and down when you squat, your joints are nice and lubricated, and the motion of going up and down with the squat is nice and smooth. All right.
Okay, so that's it for the stretching exercises. So you've watched my equipment video about squatting. You've watched my stretching exercises before squatting. Now it's time to finally squat. All right, so if you like the video, feel free to comment, subscribe, and holler back at me. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.